let's take a look at the situation in Maharashtra and indeed across India, because the numbers at this stage are a huge concern. So let's bring up these graphics, give you an idea of the Maharashtra situation at the moment. As you can see, the spike at the end of that graph pointing upwards is huge. It's larger than it's ever been. And you have the active number of cases, those recovered, and the number of deaths. Now, those are the overall number of deaths which have taken place since the beginning of this crisis. But if you just look at the number of cases in a city like Mumbai in 24 hours, at 6,923 cases in Mumbai alone in 24 hours, it's a huge worry. And if you look at the India numbers, again, a week ago, or let's look at the bottoms number. 4 weeks ago, India was at 16,752 cases, growing at 0.2%. And a week ago, that went up to 43,846 cases. And today, on the 28th of March, 62,714 cases. So again, yet another indicator. And perhaps the biggest worry when you talk about trying to defeat the virus is the positivity rate. 4 weeks back, the positivity rate was 2%. The overall average since April 23rd last year was at 5%, and today it's back at 5%. A week back it was 3.5%, 2 weeks back 2.8%. So again, the positivity rate growing up sharply. That's another cause of massive concern. Well, let's go across to NDTV's Saurav Gupta, who's been tracking the situation in Maharashtra. Sort of 8 p.m. today were when there were instructions which were absolutely clear. People had to leave restaurants, malls. Has there been an acceptance of what the government's rules are?
Well, yes, I mean, if you look at the mall behind me, which is the Atrium Mall in Worli, there definitely has been acceptance. In fact, the mall has been closed, people have left, restaurants are shut, and most people have gone home. That's what it is at this point, and the Chief Minister is already talking about lockdown-like restrictions, and that's because the cases are still continuing to rise, with a record rise even today. Over 6,000 cases in Mumbai. So obviously this is something that is going to be a worry for the administration in Maharashtra. The situation is not great here, and that's something that the administration is keeping a close eye on. In fact, they are, in the meeting that was held between the Health Minister, the Chief Minister and other top authorities of the state, what seems to have been decided is that the administration has been told to prepare for lockdown-like restrictions. What does that mean? Sources are telling us that transport is one thing that they're not going to touch. They're going to keep transport functioning, but shops, offices is something that they're going to ask people to keep shut for a while, perhaps, if at all those restrictions come into force. Now, this is something that perhaps will be decided after the 2nd of April. The government will meet, and that is something that will be clear then. But obviously the situation is grim, it's worrying, the number of cases that have been going up, and while health experts have blamed it on a double mutant COVID strain, the fact really is that whatever the strain may be, the numbers are definitely something that are really worrying. And what the administration fears is that it could put an added burden on the healthcare system,
right,
which has recovered from the first wave, and that's why they're preparing, right, so that situation doesn't arise.